If you enjoy playing Kenshi, or you've tried the game and quickly become frustrated with defeat like I did when I first tried playing, or even if you just enjoy watching video game playthroughs, please like and subscribe. I'll continue to post videos with tips, tricks, and information about the game, as well as simply sharing my playthroughs. Please comment below about your Kenshi experience or suggestions about topics or encounters in game you'd like to see me cover in future videos. Thanks for watching.
My name's Stubs Momuso, and I'm gonna take you through a tour of our armor smithing shop and talk about armor smithing. I hope you're ready for a heck of a ride, 'cause this is one exciting topic. Alright, so let's talk what you're gonna need to get your armor smithing going. First thing you gotta do is do the research for it. You're gonna need to do it here at your research bench. You're gonna need some regular books, some ancient science books, and definitely need some engineering research at some point along the way. So get that research done, and then you can go get to your armor smithing. Now, let's talk what kinds of armor smithing you can do. There's basically 4 types. You got your clothing bench, where you make regular old clothes like martial artist bindings and gis and stuff like that. You got your leather armor, where you can make some nice stuff like drifters leather jackets, drifters leather pants, and drifters boots, among other things that are made out of leather. It's pretty self-explanatory. Got your heavy armor smithing, where you can make that heavy armor, like this sweet black plate jacket I'm wearing, or this nice fine crab armor that Red's got on. Pretty much anything that's heavy armor. Armored rags, plate, jackets, all that good stuff that keeps you well protected in a fight. Dang, that helmet will keep that noggin safe. And last but far from least, you got chainmail armor, like this blackened chainmail that Red has on. Put this under some crab armor, and you'll just be getting some bruising and not be bleeding so much. So let's talk real quick about the resources you're gonna need to make all this fine armor. First thing to know is that once you unlock the technology or do the research to make each type of armor, you're gonna get, in addition to the armor crafting bench for that type of armor, a resource crafting station. As you can see behind me, old Chad there's working hard to make some leather for the leather crafting bench, but he's using the leather tanning bench to do so. And he needs animal skins to make that happen. Keep at it, Chad. You're doing a great job. And up here on the roof of our armor shop, you can see the Shrike is pounding away, making armor plating out of raw iron. That's what you're gonna need to make some heavy armor. Over here you can see Red working hard to make some chainmail sheets. In order to do that, she's gonna need some steel bars to make that happen. You may have noticed I didn't mention anything about the clothing bench and making fabric. Basically, keep in mind you're gonna need fabric for every type of armor. Clothing, leather, chainmail, and heavy armor included. It all requires fabric. Now, there's no bench for making fabric. You're going to need yourself a loom to do that. So grow yourself some cotton or hemp and build appropriate loom and make yourself some fabric. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, that's all fine and good and all, Stubbs, but what kind of armor grades are there, and how do I get good at armor smithing? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, you're going to basically start out at a prototype grade armor, move on up to shoddy, then you're gonna get to standard, then high, then specialist, and then you may have a critical success chance to make some masterwork grade armor. Now, what does that matter? You might be saying to yourself. Well, if you look here, you'll see that prototype grade armor only got 2% blunt resistance and 12% cut resistance and a 90% cut resistance efficiency. Well, if you go up here and look at this masterwork grade, it goes all the way up to 51%. So you'll go way up in quality and effectiveness in your armor as you increase in your skill level. Now you might be saying to yourself, how do I increase my skill level? Well, you make armor, stupid. But there's an easier way. You don't have to make a bunch of crappy armor in order to be good at armor smithing. You can always do that by making those resources I talked about earlier. The last thing you might be wanting to know from old Stubbs is how do I make each type of armor and know which kind of bench I should use? Well, the first thing you got to know is you're going to need to acquire the blueprint for the type of armor that you want to make. For instance, this sweet, fine black plate jacket I got on, once I purchased the blueprint, showed up in my armor crafting menu here on my heavy armor smithy. So I can make this black plate jacket now. Now you may be asking, hey Stubbs, I got me the blueprint. Now which armor crafting bench do I use to craft it on? Well, it ain't that hard to figure out. All you got to do is go look at your armor crafting menus for each bench and you'll find it somewhere. But sometimes once you got a lot of blueprints, that might be a little bit confusing. So if you have another piece of the armor already made, or that you acquired earlier in the game before you could make armor, you could just go look at it. Let's take a quick gander at a couple and see if they can make sense. So let's take a look at a couple of the examples here and we'll see what it looks like. For instance, let's look at this dark leather shirt. Where do you think you make that, dum-dum? That's right, on the leather crafting bench. It ain't too hard. But let's look at these drifter boots. I don't know, are they made out of leather? Well, they are, but how do you know that? It says light armor class leather. That's how you know. It's not too hard at all. So let's take a look at a few of these other armors and see what we can see. Drifter's leather jacket, leather. Drifter's leather pants, leather. Samurai cloth pants, leather. Strange enough, you can make these at the cloth bench or the leather crafting bench. It just works out that way. Don't ask me why. Let's take a look at a couple others. Armored rags colored, metal plate. Crab armor, metal plate. Black plate jacket, one of my favorites. Leather? Well, why is it leather? You make this at the heavy armor smithy. Don't ask me why it's that way. It just is. Some things in life you just have to accept and just move on with it. Now, the last thing you want to remember is you don't want to be crafting armor if you ain't healthy. You look like crap, Red. Why don't you go get fixed up and rest a bit? Otherwise, you're just going to make some shoddy armor. Well, that pretty much does it for old Stubbs today. I hope that helps you understand how to craft armor in Kenshi. Have a good one, y'all.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and feel free to comment below. Thanks again for watching.